Faith is not something you believe in until things don't go your way. Faith is not something you believe in until things don't go your way. It's not like rooting for a football team on this Super Bowl Sunday, and then that team starts to lose the game, and you then decide that you're going to change sides and root for the other team. Some of us treat faith that way. We are as faithful and holy and love the Lord with our whole hearts as long as God is doing what we need God to do. The instant that is not going our way, God don't love me no more. God mad at me. As a matter of fact, I ain't going back to that church. They ain't anointed. The Spirit done left. The Spirit done left that place. The Spirit done left. Got to find me another church. They ain't anointed. They're not operating in the Spirit. We will change sides the minute things don't seem to be going the way we want them. Faith is not like that. Faith is faith even and especially when things are not going our way. Faith means you believe no matter what. Ooh-wee, Jesus. There we go. My hope is built on nothing less. I dare not trust the sweet, but wholly. That means all complete, totally, all out, all in. You are all in when you have faith, and all in. That means everything. But some of us are partially in, like our big toe. We got our big toe in faith. The rest of our body's kind of hanging out, you know. When things are not going well, we get really upset, and our faith is shattered. But faith is faith no matter what. With eyes wide shut, you still have faith. When you can't see God's hand, you yet believe that God is working on your behalf. That's faith. We must ensure that our foundation of faith is evident before we actually need it. Establish faith before you run into a problem. Don't wait until the problem shows up to go and try to find faith. Say that one more time. Have faith before you run into the problem. Don't try to run and find faith in the middle of the problem. Because again, you're in a situation where your eyes might be wide shut and you won't be able to figure out where you placed faith. Because you forgot where you laid it down the last time you used it. Keep your faith foundation sure. So I have a few questions and then we're just about finished. Amen. Just about. So who do you discuss your faith with? No, that's really a question. No, seriously. Stop for a moment and think. Then answer. Who do you talk about your faith with? Like, transparently and honestly. Who do you talk to about your faith with? Okay. Better still, who is it that helps you define and understand and research and explore how, what, and when faith is active in your life? Now that's a series of questions. Who is it that helps you understand and define and research and explore what, when, and where faith is operating in your life? You don't have some people that you can actually talk through your faith with, your faith can become stagnant, static, and inanimate. When you are facing a faith crisis, when you're really not sure if God hears you when you pray, when you're really questioning if Jesus was really real, when you're wondering if the Spirit of God is truly present in our world in 2011, when you are challenging yourself to see God as loving people that you find absolutely unlovable, who are you having those discussions with? When you don't want to come to church no more, ever again when you say, I'm through. I'm done with church. Done with those religious people. They ain't nothing but hypocrites anyway. Who do you go to that reminds you the value of your faith? Who shores you up when your faith foundation is falling apart? When the foundation of your faith begins to crumble like bad concrete, who do you turn to then? When your eyes are wide shut and you can't sense God anywhere. If you've never had that experience, I assure you, it will occur in your life at some point when you're just not sure if you believe anymore. What direction is your moral compass pointing in each section of the day? Your moral compass. How are you making good, solid decisions? You know, when you have the choice between doing what you know you should do and doing what appeals to you. I should do, but this really looks good. I should do, but I really kind of want to do. This is what but I want to go. And when you find the $5 bill on the floor behind someone's chair and no one's there. Do you pick up the $5 bill, especially since you don't have $5? When you're faced with a moral decision, when you could go and hang out with somebody you shouldn't be hanging out with, and you know you shouldn't, and you really know in your heart that you really should, how are you making the decision to go or not to go? What's directing your moral and ethical compass? When someone presents you an opportunity or a proposition that on its face sounds about interesting, but you know that if you take this step, it's going to result in some backlash. What's directing your moral compass in that moment? How are you making the decision? What is serving as a counterbalance in your life? A counterbalance. Let me help you with this. A counterbalance is a weight that balances another. It is a force that offsets or holds in check an opposing force. So, counterbalance means you've got this much weight on the scale over here. And you put enough weight on this side of the scale over here to get the scale in balance. This weight is the counterbalance. So the question is, what is the counterbalance in your life? What's holding you in check? What's holding me in check? What's holding us in check? Because we are big and bad enough to do pretty much whatever we want to. But what causes us to make the right decisions for us in that moment? What's the counterbalance? What's the opposing force in your life? We live with the weights and the pressures and the force to make selfish, unhealthy, contrary, devaluing, undermining decisions and choices. We battle with the pull to do what we know we should do and what we want to do or what appeals to us. We are bombarded by external influences to take actions in order to fit in. We are bombarded by external influence to take actions in order to fit in, to remain a part of the popular culture. We struggle with the desire to fit in. In the face of marching to the beat of our own drum, we want to be on the A-list. Often we desire to be part of the in crowd. However, the question is, what tips the scale in the best direction for us? So, are we now, or have we recently been living with our eyes wide shut? This is the introduction to this section. These questions will guide us for the next several weeks. Do we desire to be who God created us to be? Or do we desire to be part of the network that appeals to us on face value? Let me make it more real. The City of Refuge, Washington, D.C., want to be like XYZ congregation on the corner that has 175 members, 16 ministries, a well-respected pastor that can sing and shout and dance, that has vans that goes and picks up people and brings them there for the 8 o'clock service, the 9:30 Sunday school, the 10:45, and the 11:15 entree of the praise and worship team, trailed by the liturgical dancers in beautiful gold lame robes. Or the City of Refuge want to be a people that work and worship and build community with one another, that changes the lives of individuals that they encounter by sharing with them the radically inclusive love of Jesus Christ, that on fourth Sundays finds a way to scrap together some food and donations to give to people that are hungry in our neighborhood, that works with every other congregation in the community to make sure that people really, really know that God really, really loves them no matter who they are or where they come from. And that work may only bring us 50 people that are serious about their faith. And the reality is this: you could grow to be 178 with the gold lame, but the gold lame don't mean nothing if you don't have a commitment to the 50 people that are serious about doing the work first. Our eyes can be wide shut as we see what appeals to us, as opposed to pausing and asking, God, what do you want for us? And it may look nothing at all like what appeals to us. Can we find a way to live our faith and not walk around with our eyes wide shut?